Hello everyone, Bridget Casey from Bridget Casey Designs here today for Not Too Shabby. Today we're celebrating Sweet Critters, which is the March 2022 Stampin' Die of the Month. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my dies out. I'm putting a piece of alcohol marker friendly paper because we're going to be using Copics into my stamp positioner. I'm also putting in the dies. I like to stamp and die cut this way. I like to keep as many of my dies together as possible. There's less likely to lose them for me in my space. So if you haven't tried this, maybe give this a whirl. So I'm placing my stamps into the dies where they would go. The stamps that I thought I was going to use, I do end up using one extra that I end up stamping. So now I'm taking my Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink and I'm stamping that onto my cardstock. We'll get started with coloring with Copics. So the Copics are listed on the screen. For the fox body, we're using E08, E99, YR27, and E97. This card was an experiment for me, I guess you would say. I did a lot of coloring, so that's why my fox is alone on this paper. And you may be saying, wait a minute, she just stamped a full sheet of critters. Why is there just a fox? Well, I did some practicing and, working through some new color combos for me. So you'll see that I have a few things that come up in the video that I had colored and they didn't work out to my happiness. So I did experiment a lot with this color combo, but I really love it, and I definitely will keep it going forward in my little book of color combos. So I highly recommend, if you don't have one of those, it's a good idea to take the time to make one. So if you color a fox, say a year from now, you're like, oh, I remember there was a color combo that I really liked when I did this fox. So you'll see that I had gone through all four of my colors, and now I'm going back to my darkest. As I went through and I added those lighter markers, so the YR27 and E97, it lightened my darker markers a scotch. So I really want to make sure I have that definition in the fox that I'm coloring. And that's the way to do it, is to go back and add it in. So if you're looking at your image and you're saying, I just don't know, I'm not sure, don't pop it in the bin. Just go back and see if you can add a little bit more of a darkness with your darker tones. Or if you're nervous about starting and adding more of your darker tones, start with your second color that you use. So in this case, if you're nervous about the E08, go in with the E99. And add some of that tone in there. So for the ears, I'm also using a new color combo, the R81 and RV10, and I really like it. So I think it's one I will again put in that book of my personal cheat sheet to color Copic combos. So now we're working on the tail, and the tail involves W6, W4, W2. I use for the tail, the belly, and the face, I use the warm gray markers ranging from W6 to W0. I did use W6 on the tail. I did not use it on the face and on the belly. I wanted to have that differentiation where the belly and the face were a little bit lighter than the tail. These would look great as well if you did some of the cool grays. My cool gray 2 was empty, so I was waiting for my refill. But in the end, I really love the warm grays, and I think if I were to do this project again in the future, I would definitely still pull my warm grays. So you can see there, there's a couple things going on. I got a sheep over there that's colored just on a random piece of paper, and I got my fox. But you'll see that the fox was still lined up and I was still able to die cut it. I will take those extra white pieces that I cut and I will put them in the envelope for another day. Here, I just wanted that a warm hello and the I miss you off that. So I ran those through, but you can see I had a lot of practice coloring. So we're using the Drifting Confetti stencil from the Not Too Shabby shop, and we're also using Salvage Patina. I really hadn't used this yet, so I was super excited to get to play with this distress ink a little bit, and it created the perfect delicate background. I didn't want a lot going on in my background. So this was the perfect choice. And I also tried to create an ombre where it was lighter at the bottom and darker at the top because I didn't want anything to pull away from my fox. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our fox put up on some foam tape. We are going to leave our sentiment flat so that we have different, oh, nope. We're going to pop it up. I'm sorry. So we're going to pop it up. If you wanted to, you could create a different look by keeping your sentiment flat and popping up your critter. But I really love how this card came out, and I can't wait to see what you create. Thanks so much. See you next time.